Well, I just got back from seeing Predator Badlands. How about a new episode of Film Flam? First, shout out to this guy. Who hit me up and was like, do you want to go see this movie? And I was like, yes, I do. And before we get into it, as is tradition, when I get out with the people, if they so wish, I like to ask their opinion on the film. Before I get into crap, here's my boys' thoughts. What were your thoughts on the Predator Badlands?
Okay, so Predator Badlands, watching it, we've come a long way. I'm in the Predator Alien franchise. Probably one of the better like of both those franchises going on in movies. They've probably explored the most of movies, and we don't know where we're gonna go next with these things.
Yeah.
Or what kind of story they're gonna tell next. They can explore anything they want, and both are completely different. Aliens versus Predators is completely different feelings in movies. So I thought it was totally fun. Can't wait to see what happens next. The movie I was worried at the beginning. In the end, they left me wanting more. So.
Pretty valid. Also, went to the movies with this handsome guy. Yeah, that's me. Predator Badlands has been a little bit of a victim. I don't even know. I'd like to have a term for it. It's kind of get off my lawn-itis with YouTube and online critics, where because there have been so many IPs that are so beloved by these folks going into their 30s, their 40s, that have these huge online followings, stuff like Indiana Jones that were just completely mishandled, trashed. There's this belief that anything new connected to those is bad. And if a film is trying to move in a certain way by being maybe a little bit more accessible on the PG-13 side, or has these jokes, it's been Disney-fied, it's been Marvelized, it's been modern writing, it's all this stuff. I even watched an article on this movie trying to say that there was like some sexual agenda to this film. It's just really odd. Bottom line is, hate sells, right? And you're seeing it more and more and more that these huge content creators, like most of what they're putting out there in films is, bashing the new stuff, which, look, there's been a lot of bad modern interpretations of classic awesome IPs. The Indiana Jones one is so bad, but I get it. I love Alien versus Predator. I have all the films from both franchises. I have graphic novels, collections. The whole idea of both species of alien and how they work, and just in film too. You go back to the original Alien, it holds up so unbelievably well. And Aliens with James Cameron getting behind the director's lens and just kicking ass with that. And there's so much to love about these franchises. I love Predator. I may love Predator 2 more. And it's totally okay if you immediately write this review off because you're like, are you kidding me? No, I just think Predator 2 was a really dark, fun time. Predators was really cool. I liked AVP, even though one of the arguments of that film, funny enough, much like this one, was it was PG-ified, but it was still a really fun time, and actually had some really, actually tried to have some threads that were very much connected to the original AVP comic. I appreciated that. AVP Requiem, aka the movie that was so awesome, if only I could see it. It'll haunt me forever. That Predator at the beginning fighting two aliens, and even now, 4K TV, and still can't see it. Looks like the coolest fight of all time, and it's just lighting. It matters. I'm all over the map here. Anyway, I'm all over the map here. We're already a few minutes into this. Look, if you don't know, Predator, the franchise, is about an alien race. Their whole purpose is to find new races that challenge them and grow as this ultimate race of hunters. Alien has been one of their largest thwarters of that particular disc. Humans, close second, because Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's going to give you a good go. Also Danny Glover. And anybody who's surprised by that needs to remember, he's Murtaugh. So this film is a younger, inexperienced Predator, hasn't earned his stripes, kind of, that after a pretty, awesome, solid opening ends up on this hunt to take down one of these creatures that's like this, not mythical beast, but a beast that no predator has actually taken down. He's going to, on this very alien planet, no humans in sight, come across an android. It's been damaged. They're going to connect and move towards achieving this goal with some mainstays from the Alien vs. Predator franchise appearing here and there. I've got to tell you, and it could be because my bar was set a little bit low, even though I loved Prey, this film was actually really good. I was a little worried at the beginning because it was really dark. Again, AVP Requiem trauma. It's still here. As soon as I saw that opening fight scene in the dark, I'm like, no, don't do this to me again. They actually did a pretty good job, even in the dark scenes in this film, of just lighting them enough that you can follow what's happening. It looked beautiful. I saw it in 3D. The score was actually really subtle, but really cool. Some of the action scenes were great. This film is PG-13. They're obviously trying to gear this franchise to be a little bit more accessible, taking your family to it. These guys that love the franchise that now have a couple of kids and 1.2 dogs at home that can bring their family to this and they can all have a good time. This would be a great time with any kid like 10, 11 years old in there with their dad just loving it up. And yes, they do Grogu it, where they throw this cutesy character in it with the giant eyes. The one friend you saw the review from earlier pointed out tonight, eventually Disney's just going to create a side character in a film that is all cutesy eyes. It's just like 8 cutesy eyes. They'll make it like an arachnid dog. There it is, arachnid dog with giant cutesy eyes and feelings and little creepy crawlies. And by the way, if Disney takes that, it was mine, trademarked. What would we call that? K9, K-arachnid? Arachnine. And I get that people can look at that and be upset, but look, the Predator franchise as a whole doesn't have a giant amount of R-rated stuff in it. It's not going to have a giant amount of profanity. Most of it's alien. It's not going to have a whole lot of sex. That's out the window. So really you're talking violence. And the way that this film deals with it, one, they have a couple of very violent things happen, which you can get away with. And then they do like kind of the old Sam Raimi Evil Dead trick where the blood's changed colors and they do a little bit of it off screen. They also have a lot of androids that get killed. So you have these giant violent things happening, but they're androids. So it's just sparks and whatnot. So I didn't really feel the PG-ness a lot in this film. I did feel that slightly like you want to make it a little cute, so putting that creature in there. But again, didn't ruin it for me. Elle Fanning as the android is great. Actually has dual role in this. One qualm was I wish we spent a little bit more time with the Predator on the planet, kind of acclimating to his surroundings before she came in, because once she comes in, there's a lot of talking from her. I really appreciated they kept the Predator subtitled, but she speaks English because of the translator thing. It's explained. But once she's in there, there's just so much more exposition and like back and forth. I just wish to spend a little bit more time with the Predator before that happened. But small qualm. Action scenes, really well directed. Actually, like pretty intense at a couple of points with how the camera's moving. I really appreciated keeping everything in frame. The CGI for a film that cost $105 million, which again, go back 30 years. Somebody out there like Rick Baker just does all practical effects, like 105, what? But for that much money, what they accomplished here is awesome. Because look, I think you can make a really good argument that if you just want Predator, so if you just want like your Predator to be this being that shows up, hunts people, rolls out after, fights a muscly dude, whatever, maybe this isn't your cup of tea. But as a sci-fi film, or just a sci-fi film centered around an alien race, this is awesome. From the effects to the action, the movie as a whole has a really cool story. I like that we got a little bit more into some of the Predator. And this is supposed to take place like literally, I think, centuries past anything that's happened. So, the race has evolved a bit, how they look. I do want to get to a point where I see some of the tech side of the Predators. Obviously, they're very advanced. They even point out that humans haven't mastered, some of their weapons or how the Predator ships can travel at certain speeds. So they're very advanced, but they come across as just, sword-wielding Conans. That can all come. The movie sets up an interesting path if they go that way. $80 million opening weekend against a $105 million budget. You probably got to break $200 million to make a profit. I think this film has a really good shot. 2 films into how this director wants to approach it with Prey and now this, I believe it's the same guy. I refuse to check my phone, pretty sure. I really like what they've done here, telling 2 very unique stories that both feel connected to the Predator franchise and both feel very authentic in a way that The Predator, which preceded them, didn't. That was the late 2010s one, I think, written by Shane Black. That one just lost the plot. Like, it really did, where they had the giant CGI predator. And this film, just little things. I really appreciated how the mouths moved, and I had a really good time with this movie. There was a lot to enjoy here. Cutesy critter aside, like, fit the story well. Fights were great. It's definitely not, you're not going to feel that PJ-ness as much as some people say you will. Like, there's arms being lobbed off and heads being lobbed off. They just changed some of the blood colors. You know, Predator blood's green. There's a part where the android kills something off screen and blood splashes over, but it's kind of like orangey because it's an alien creature. So I'm going to give this film, I should go back and like see what I gave Prey, because maybe it's going to be too high. I don't know. But I think I'm going to give this film a 7.5 out of 10. Really enjoyable time. I will buy this on 4K. Hopefully it's a really nice packaging. Can't not be a physical media person. It's genuinely surprised how much fun I had with this. Not because I didn't think I would enjoy it, but I was a little worried from some of the trailers that it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But Elle Fanning, like I said, did really good here. I hope it's not Ellie Fanning. Is it Ellie Fanning? Elle Fanning does really good here. The motion capture for the Predator is amazing. And like I said, the mouths and how the facial looks great. And I think if you're a Predator fan, don't forget, Predators have fought Superman. They did a Predator versus Alien versus Superman. Like, there's been some pretty wild Predator stories out there. I think there's room in the universe for a story like this. I'm here for it. And like I said, I believe it's set very far in the future, so you could still have a Predator versus Alien or something down the road that ties in, you know, the new Alien Earth on Hulu that's been a huge hit. There's lots of room to have fun there. And don't believe the hate out there, people. It's got a lot of control, bashing everything. Like, there's a lot to enjoy here. And you know what's funny about these online critics? You remember, like, you go back a few years, you would have all the mainstream critics like something, and the audience wouldn't. And, you know, these online critics were kind of like mocking it and whatnot. And now you kind of see this opposite thing happening, where all these online critics, these guys that bash these new movies all the time, are saying all of this, and then the audience score is very high. And it makes a ton of money. And a lot of people enjoy the movie. And they just move right on to hating the next thing, right? I think it says something, you know, like, the audience is the audience. And not that they're going to tune these people out. They're still getting tons of views. Way more than this guy in my poster room. I want some of that money. But I think you're starting to see that, in a way, you've lived long enough to become the villain. These mainstream critics are now not as valid as these YouTube and these independent critics became. And now they've become the thing that they kind of hated originally, where they're so stuck in a way of thinking that it's influencing how they approach all these new films. And I understand it, because there's been so much crap. But there's always good. There's nothing wrong with a medium-sized budget, kick-butt sci-fi movie with a cool-looking alien race and a cool-looking alien planet and a ton of cool-looking alien creatures, alien android-looking things that have their legs ripped off, and I'm here for it. Like, subscribe, see you for Predator Badlands 2.